Listen to what they're telling you and then observe what we know. Recall what we know. And you tell me this isn't all a setup and all for a reason. This time, the setup leans in our favor, I believe. Not financial advice, of course. But listen to this. In particular, this is what it says. The Americas are almost entirely absent from the crypto custody space, largely because of the SEC's SAB 121 account ruling. Wait, two things already stand out. This is why it's important to read these types of articles and documents. Number one, crypto custody space. So all these financial institutions, the banks are largely absent from the crypto custody space. Wait a minute. Didn't Ripple get deep with crypto custody? They bought some company. Remember that? I can't remember what the company's name is off the top of my head. I know you probably do. But then they expanded on that and what that custody was going to entail and where it could reach to. You think that's not for a reason? You think Ripple doesn't know this? Wait, then there's the SEC angle, largely because of the SEC. Well, the SEC regime is about to change. So a lot of the different rules that were established before will not apply in the future, which means whoever is at the forefront of crypto custody could be a major player holding major value and moving major value. You don't just custody it forever. Of course, you hold it for a while and then you move it when clients want you to move that, whether you recommend it or not. So that's going to equal a lot of value. Thirdly, what do we know? We know that in the so-called Americas, they want and have been saying that the private sector should lead the way. Who's the private sector? Ripple. Who's in deep with crypto custody? Ripple. Who's been saying that they believe, this is what they said, I believe it was the CLO of Ripple, said, I think it was last year, that they believe that the banks, commercial banks, will want XRP. Interesting. And who's about to be unleashed once we're done with this SEC case? Ripple. I mean, everything is leaning in our favor. That leads to what? An explosion in price. How high you wanted to go is up to you. I can't tell you that. But all of this is happening clearly for a reason. They're telling you this for a reason. Wait, it says which makes it prohibitive for banks to provide custody, but they don't need to. That's the thing. They never needed to, because the private sector can handle that. With all these new partnerships that are going to be happening, the private sector can handle that. The banks can continue as usual. And that's what they want. They let us know that years ago. Everything is actually going according to plan if people just pay attention and watch. Don't let them trick you. Don't let them throw new stuff out there and it shakes you up. No. Remember in the beginning, the BIS let it be known, and one of our members raised something very interesting about why the BIS. If you go in that comment section of the last members only video, read that comment about why the BIS might be doing what they're doing, right? Because I have raised the point of the BIS. It looks like somebody's pulling their collar, letting them know, hey, you got to choose a side. Read that comment. We have some brilliant members in the members only section. Read that comment. But anyway, the BIS was saying before that they didn't want to change how they operated. They didn't want to change their so-called their business model, so to speak. They just wanted to add something new, let the private sector handle the heavy lifting, and they just control everything. The BIS controls everything, right? They sit at the top, let everybody else do the work. They sit at the top, control things. Everybody else makes it happen, for lack of a better word. Makes perfect sense. Most of the banks want that. They want to rake in the benefits, the value, while someone else does the heavy lifting, right? And that's what it looks like here in the U.S. U.S. does that all the time. Someone else does the heavy lifting while the big companies, they benefit the most, right? That's how it goes. So, but here's the thing about this change. This time, there's no way around the people on the ground, the people in the middle, and the people at the top making a ton of money. There's no way around it. When that value comes in, it's touching everybody that's a holder or a participant. It's touching everything. Those native cryptos go insane at that moment. And that's just a beginning. There should be a clear, consistent upward trajectory once utility is kicking off, once these things are being used, once there's big announcements being made. That's just a beginning. Now, what's going to be important for people is not to just concentrate on the launch. I mean, when the rocket lifts off. That's going to be exciting. That's going to be major. And I expect after that, there's going to be major dips, major crashes, but that will not stop the upward trajectory. Just like now with Bitcoin, dips and crashes. Sure. I mean, corrections. Sure. But It's not going to stop the upward trajectory. You're going to see it continue to go up, right? That's what's going to be important, because I think that those middle to upper explosions are going to be so mind-blowing and life-changing. I mean, you're going to go from people making, just my humble opinion, not financial advice, but you're going to go from people making millions of dollars to tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. I believe it's going to get there. I really do. And I'm going by numbers I already see. You know, what I've been told over the years, you know, doesn't mean I have to believe people, doesn't mean that what they say is true, but I've spoken to a lot of people, right? And they let you know the value that they're working with, what they made in the last bull run or two, etc. Once again, you don't have to believe what people say. I don't have to either. But let's say I take that into account. OK, then you go from making 700,000, 800,000 or a million to making tens of millions, hundreds of millions. It all depends on how much you hold and what you hold. But of course, that's going to be up to you. Now, all of these cryptos, like I said, across the board, these top cryptos are all bullish. Put Bitcoin to the side. We know Bitcoin is bullish. But I'm talking about utility coins, bank coins, the XRPs, the Quants, Chainlink, Solanas, XLMs, the Algorand's, etc. So, you know, it's up to the people what they decide to be involved in. You get what I'm saying? And just make the wisest choice that you can make, not financial advice once again. But that's not it. Wait, so let me not get too far. It says the relaxing of this SEC's SAB 121 accounting rule, which was making it prohibitive for banks to provide custody, might altogether be dropped because of all the whole regime change that's happening. It might be dropped. I'm telling you, everything is looking like, not everything, but there's so much of this leaning towards there might be some sort of explosive activity happening in 2025. There's just way too many positive catalysts to ignore. All the barriers that were there, it looks like they're trying to drop them all at one time, which I like to make things visual. I view that as like a reservoir or a dam. You ever see those like on YouTube or TikTok when they've been closed up for a long time? And at first you see the trickles coming out, but after a while the trickles come out, the mud comes out, and then boom, you get this massive amount of flood of water. Okay. And I think that's pretty expedient to use that, or it's pretty proper to use that, because we say, you know, water, we consider, assets to be liquidity. So there's that connection there. Yes, the flow of value is like that also. If they remove all these barriers, you get this flow of value, or at least, right? Meet me in the middle. You get the possibility of it, right? The possibility of it. You tell me, right? I like to hear from the people. You tell me. So if they're going to be removing this, then you have the entire SEC regime changing. You might get somebody that's pro-crypto in the lead at the SEC. You have all these banks on standby. Allegedly, this is what everyone claims. So many pros claim this. So many banks on standby. Then hearing from the banks themselves, they want DLT. Hearing from the central banks, I don't think they're faking weakness or feigning weakness at all. I think that they're actually in the back seat. They're saying that they're behind. They need DLT. Who doesn't need us? How does that not equate to a massive amount of value coming into crypto? DLT, blockchain. There's no way around it. We already read from the pros. Everything that comes into the DLT is going to have a massive effect on those native cryptos. Right now, things are bullish, super bullish. I mean, I don't know how you get around that. But wait, there was something else here. This article was really, really good. It says in the second half, and then they go back to 2023 as establishing a basis to show you that things are building over time, right? This is what they were trying to establish here. In the second half of 2023, assets under custody in Europe grew by 49% to 5.5 billion euro compared to the first half. So then we go here, right? And it says this, listen to this. When it comes to enabling client exposures, the roles are completely reversed. The Americas dominate, providing 98% of services. What that tells me is that the United States, the Americas, are ready. United States, Latin America, Canada, they're ready. 98% services. You mean to tell me they're not going to go crazy with staking? Oh, wait. Remember, we did read an article where they were talking about what? They were talking about going crazy with staking. We've been making the right calls all along the way. What happens if they actually honor what they're saying and they actually do that? How does it affect the prices of something like Solana, who they claimed they were going to go after the banks? I'm still waiting to hear about Solana and banks. I haven't heard it yet. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. Or how does that affect something like Chainlink, who's in deep with Swift and a bunch of banks? How does that affect XRP? If any of these things, any of these large financial institutions start locking up any of these native cryptos because of staking and delegation, how does that affect the price? The price is going to explode. We're talking about people's pockets exploding all over the place. For lack of a better word, I like to visualize things like that. It keeps me fired up. I just like that. The figures are on a different scale, they say, with American banks enabling 190 billion euro, $201 billion of client exposures at this point. At this point in time, imagine where it's going to be in the future. It's growing every single year. Once again, that tells us what? That tells us that the United States, the Americas are ready, that when these barriers are removed by the SEC, and after the SEC removes those barriers, we know that a large part of the world follows what the United States does. They will also remove barriers. It's just how it goes. And if that happens, we're talking about absolute global domination. We're talking about a flood of global value into DLT, the likes of which people could not fathom. They couldn't even imagine it. You talk to people about this, they're not even going to believe it. We don't need them to. I don't need them to. I just need to see what's really there. Right now, the pathway looks like it's getting cleared. How is there not a golden age? Right there, within arm's reach. There was something else here. All right, so now we're going to move on from that. All right, there was something else. I can't remember what it was. I don't want to keep you here scrolling through, but let's get here to this Cardano. We have more Cardano Bitcoin news, right? I'm hoping this is going to be as major as what Hoskinson is making it out to be. He continues to give information on his ideas for Cardano and Bitcoin. This article was titled Cardano Founder Predicts Bitcoin DeFi Will Dominate Crypto Within 3 Years. There's your timeline. Bitcoin will rise between $250,000 to $500,000 within the next 12 to 24 months, predicted Charles Hoskinson. Woo! I think we saw something about one of his predictions. I didn't think it was this high, but I read so many predictions, I can't remember them all. But that would be nice if Bitcoin did do that. That means those of us who might sell some could buy back in when it goes down, and still there's a good penny to be made, right? Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson said decentralized finance in the Bitcoin ecosystem will eclipse all other crypto DeFi within 2 to 3 years. He touted the potential for Bitcoin DeFi while making a bold price prediction and highlighting a new model for bridging Bitcoin without using centralized exchanges. Quote, I started in the Bitcoin space and I loved Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been a big part of my life. And the only reason I'm here today is because Bitcoin exists, unquote, he said in a YouTube video posted on November the 27th. He voiced frustrations with using Bitcoin in the early days, saying Bitcoin went from a sleeping giant never to awaken in an innovation coma to an awakened giant that is 4 times the size of Solana and Ethereum combined, unquote, he added. Quote, DeFi in the Bitcoin ecosystem will eclipse DeFi in all ecosystems in the cryptocurrency industry within 24 months to 36 months. And that's just because of scale and liquidity. All right. So there you have it. You're hearing it here from Charles Hoskinson. All right. We shall see, won't we, sir? All right. Now, so let's move on here. A little bit more Bitcoin news. It's always a lot happening with Bitcoin lately. It's interesting to me. There's so many people that still refuse to believe that Bitcoin, despite any dips, despite any severe corrections or however you want to perceive that there's nothing. Listen, this is my humble opinion. You might have a different one. There's nothing knocking Bitcoin train off the tracks right now. That's not going to happen. No, I just don't see it happening. All those big companies aren't even in position yet. So now that we've seen how fast Bitcoin has gone up in price, right? I don't think it's hard to fathom it going to $200,000. I don't. Not right now. No. I think before the middle of 2025, that it is reasonable if Bitcoin were to hit 150,000. I do. It's so close to touching 100,000, right? I don't know what it is right now, but 150,000, I think it can pass that before mid 2025. And then it's I won't say smooth sailing, but I think it's a surefire bet that at some point before 2026 or during the first half of 2026, I don't think $200,000 is unreasonable, but we shall see. I could be wrong, but we shall see. So now this article is titled here, Bitcoin miner company goes on buying spree. Whales expect higher prices. See, things like this. Bitcoin recently experienced a small retrace from its all-time high of $99,800, dropping to a low of $90,700. Despite this pullback, the price action remains bullish. I'm telling you, the future is bright. Bullish as Bitcoin shows resilience and recovers from the dip. Market momentum remains strong. Listen, I said this before. They show the clear pattern multiples of times where every time there's a dip or correction, who's buying it now? It used to be retail buying up the dips, right? Not majority anymore. It looks like the majority of what's happening, the significant buys are coming from companies. You think the companies are buying these dips to make a few pennies, a few dollars? No. They must feel like something massive is coming. They're not here playing for peanuts. They're here playing for the big money. And they're serious. Let's keep it going. I don't know what this is. That's my that's my new thing. I just do it. It's just stuff you see me do on camera. It just comes to me, you know. I'm sticking with it. All right. Market momentum remains strong with key players continuing to show confidence in the asset's long-term potential. Yeah. Yes. Listen, these people are not going off the top of their head. They're not guessing. They have I said this before many times, they have the best of the best advisors. These people are real financial advisors. They're getting paid big money. Not only that, put the financial advisors to the side. They have big money researchers. This is all they do. Their minds are very sharp. And they're telling them, hey, listen, long term, there's no guarantees, but long term, this looks bullish. That's why they're acting on it. That's serious business. They're talking with their money right now. They're showing you. Anyway, it says one notable move came from Mara Holdings Incorporated, a prominent Bitcoin mining company, which acquired 6,474 Bitcoin worth $615 million. This strategic move by Mara highlights the ongoing institutional demand for Bitcoin, signaling continued confidence in its future growth. And once again, as Bitcoin continues to go up, the rest of crypto will as well. Oh, this is so good. I like it. I like it a lot. What movie did I get that from? Do you remember? All right. So now listen, let's move on here. All right. I don't want to waste any time. I have a lot more articles, but I'll be posting the best of these articles for the members only section a little bit later. OK, and I have another members only video coming up very soon. So stay tuned for that. Just putting it all together. So now here, listen to this. I told people, I said, I just don't. Chainlink is bullish, in my opinion. It has always been bullish, in my opinion. But right now, they've been cooking. They've been doing great. They've been doing great business. They announced they're working with more banks the last 2 months. They said that they announced they were expanding their relationship with Swift. That was within the last 3 months. I mean, so many big announcements. How are they not bullish? They are, in my humble opinion. Crypto pundit sees Chainlink price rising to $100 soon. Do you agree with that? Do you believe that Chainlink can rise to $100? What do you think? How high do you think? Let me know. How high do you think Chainlink can go? What do you think? If you don't mind. Chainlink rebounded in November and is on track to have its best monthly performance since May. This link rebound coincided with the broader crypto market rally, adding fuel to the uptrend. One analyst believes that this rally is just starting. I believe that also. Now, listen, like I said, dips, corrections, yes. We're talking long term. Chainlink is super bullish. I don't know how high it's going to go. I just know people have not seen it reach its maximum potential yet. No way. There's no way. It says market analysts, multiple, on X, formerly Twitter, are upbeat that the Chainlink price has more room to go. I agree with that. I don't know when, but I agree with that. In an X post, WSB trader Rock, who has been accurate before, predicted that the coin would ultimately rebound to $100 in the near term. He expects this breakout to $100 to be confirmed if the coin jumped above the critical resistance at $20. All right, let's leave that one there. I think I have another one. We have another one. Let's see if this is any different. If it has any new information for us. We're going to get into that gold, a little bit of that sweet, sweet gold. News. The potential for December Federal Reserve rate cut cited for gold price bounce. Oh, is that so? So it says here, ANZ on gold. A note highlighting first bullet point. Gold prices higher on the prospect of a December Fed rate cut after the U.S. personal consumption expenditure data earlier in the week came in line with expectations. Second bullet point, pricing up around a 70% chance for a 25 basis point rate cut in December from just over 50% a week ago. It was all good just a week ago. Remember all the songs had a line like that? It was like in the 90s. It was all good just a week ago. What was that song? Funny what? 7 days can change a stand-up person. Now they sit down and aim. It was all good just a week ago. It was Jay-Z, I think. It was Jay-Z and Too Short song. I got to go listen to that song. Somebody, you helped me remember. That was a good song. Third bullet point. Geopolitical tensions in Europe after Russia. No. We're not saying that that geopolitical stuff on here for YouTube can mess up my channel. No. I'm not even taking a chance. All right, let's move on to other gold news, everybody. We have more gold news for you. Yeah, you can't take chances like that on YouTube. You don't know what's going to rub YouTube the wrong way. We're here to provide good research, good news. That's it, partner. World's largest gold deposit found, worth $80 billion. What? Oh, I like the sounds of that. A deposit of high quality gold ore containing around 1,000 metric tons of precious metal has been discovered in central China. You know, they were happy. Oh, my goodness. According to Chinese state media. Valued at approximately 600 billion yuan or 83 billion US dollars, the discovery could be considered the largest and most lucrative reservoir of gold ever uncovered, surpassing the 900 metric tons estimated to lie within the mother of all gold reserves, South Deep Mine in South Africa. That's a lot of gold. See, and this is what I was talking about. So clearly they're just scanning the ground, right? They're scanning the ground. They found these gold deposits. Now, in the future, they won't have to dig that out of the ground. They'll just be able to tokenize that value with it sitting right there. And people will be able to store their value in that tokenization of that real world asset without moving it, and then move that value out of it. As somebody buys into that value, then the other ones move out of it without even having to dig in the ground. This is RWA tokenization is going to be major. This is just one way of using it. There's thousands of ways to use it. But let's keep going. It's like with fine art. Let's say someone wants to invest in a fine art piece and there is a high quality, very, very safe art gallery that's going to hold that for them. They don't have to move that art piece, right? Because it could be very unsafe. Art can get damaged and moving it. It's not a great thing to do. So you can buy that piece, store that value in that piece. When you want to sell that piece, it sells right from there. The value is moved out from there. There's so many ways to use RWA, but anyway, continuing on. These alone were thought to contain 300 metric tons of gold with 3D modeling, suggesting additional reserves may be found to a depth of 3 kilometers. Quote, many drilled rock cores show gold visible, unquote, says Bureau prospector Chen Rulin. So they have 3D models. They have, so they scanned the ground they have 3D models. They have core samples. They were thorough on this. Core samples suggest every metric ton of ore could contain as much as 138 grams. Nearly 5 ounces of gold, an extraordinary level of quality. Wow. Considering our ore excavated from underground mines is considered high grade if it contains more than 8 grams. Man, the world is changing. China already dominates the world's gold markets with reserves considered to be in excess of 2,000 tons. Earlier in 2024, its mining industry contributing around 10% of the global output. All right. So now listen, The other articles I have, I'll be posting in the members only section. Make sure you check them out. And now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.